Hello and welcome to the 9 to 5 CEO podcast. I'm Tremaine, aka the 9 to 5 landlord.
And I'm Zena, aka Zena Dixon Inc.
And today we have a special episode featuring a guest. And if you want to, bro, you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell people a little bit more about yourself.
Well, hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Alex, aka Al Camden Reynolds. I buy properties in my city, Camden, New Jersey, and fix them up and I rent them out.
That's what's up. We love that you're repping the city. I'm very familiar with Camden. You have a great aquarium down there that I went to like years ago, and I was just like, this is so dope. So it's like so cool that you repping Camden, because I don't think I know any real estate people that's working out of Camden.
Well, there's a lot of us in there. There is a lot, especially now, because a lot of people starting to get a little buzz. Camden, New Jersey is, it's close to Philadelphia. So it's the only thing that separates Camden and Philly is like a mile and a half of water, right? So we is so close to the city of Philadelphia, but Camden was always a hood, right? Which is it's still a bad neighborhood in certain parts, but me being from the city, I decided like I can own more property here, even though people can say it's it's the hood, but for me it's home. So me buying properties in my was always a good thing for me.
Right. And that's so important, because a lot of people think, oh, I'm not going to buy in the hood. I'm going to try and buy in this, upper echelon area, which is cool. We want people to move up, but there's gold in the hood. And on top of that, it's like you want to empower our neighborhoods so that they're better. Like let's infuse some money into these neighborhoods so they're not the hood anymore. And people don't have that mindset. Like, let me start in my own backyard to fix what's going on. And it's like, it's really dope that you're from Camden, because the nuances of the city.
Exactly.
And how you want to move in it in terms of your rehabs and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
No, but that what you just said makes so much sense, right? People that always hit me up on my DMs, they be like, well, I want to invest. I'm like, find the city that you live in, right? Just analyze deals, right? Your neighborhood, like to your next block, from the next block. When I start realizing what I had in my city, like my own city, the place where I grew up at, and knew the potential that was there, right? The potential that I'm able to do great in my city, meaning I'm able to make money, right? Because that's what we in here for, right? Buy property, invest, and I'm able to fix my city up, right? I'm able to do something to my community, buying a property that's just run down or in bad shape, fix it up, put good people in there, and make money doing it. And it was like, it's a great feeling, right? And so especially like now that if I'm in the city fixing the property up and people do that I know, that I grew up with, they see me doing the same thing. It's kind of like like it's contagious when people doing good, right? They see me doing it. So they're like, wow, Al can buy properties where he's from, right? He's from this neighborhood. Why can I? And then that's good for me, because if you buy a property in the same area and you build it up and you fix it up, you're making my city better, right? You building my house. We all win.
Exactly. So let's run it back. This is the 9 to 5 CEO podcast. So we definitely want to always know your origins. If you're still at your 9 to 5, how did your 9 to 5 fund your side hustle that has become like your big hustle? We want to know your story.
So I'm a worker. I'm still a worker. When people always say, Al, why you don't quit? Like, why? Like, I don't need to quit now. This is something that I'm building, right? And then my job helped a lot. I'm a truck driver for Coca-Cola. I've been there for 15 years. And as you work, everybody tell you the same thing. Like, look, get a pension, a 401k, and then you're going to retire, right? In 50 years, right? I don't even know how old you got to be to retire anymore. But for me, I knew that wasn't it, right? I knew I needed to put my money somewhere that can start working for me, that I can able to invest it while I'm still working. Because I recommend people do not quit their job, right? Just use your job as to fund your next business, right? Or your next deal, whatever you want to do, right? So me working at Coca-Cola for X amount of years, I was able to use my 401k for deals. I was able to take money off that. I was able to have reserve off of my 401k. And the bank is easier to lend you money when you got a W-2 job. So when I was able to use that and use the information that I knew, that working at a company for X amount of years helped me fund a lot of my deals that I have now. And it would have been a lot harder. Not saying it was impossible, but it would have been a lot harder for me to get funding if I ain't have a W-2 job. So I definitely, when people have a job now, figure out how you can use that job to fund your deals. And you know, a lot of people that do DM me, I'm like, look, 401k, go to a bank, get a pre-approval, and then you'll get a better chance of getting it than you just entrepreneur from the street, because the bank is not going to lend to somebody that don't show proof of income.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. If you could, what was your first introduction to real estate? Was it somebody talking about it on the job? Was it social media? What was it that kind of catapulted you and had you like, you know what, I got to buy me some real estate?
You know what? I don't know. Like, it's one of them things is like, it's kind of like being from the city in a bad neighborhood. Like, you know, a lot of people you grew up with either selling drugs or in a corner or doing the bad things. There was never a person that I looked up to that did real estate. I knew I was a hard worker. I knew that I can work hard in anything I do. So when I was working, I had bought a property when I was 19 for me though. I bought the property, I lived in a property. And then when I was ready to sell the property, I was going to move to another house, but something told me to keep it, right? I don't even know what it was. It's kind of like, I didn't think I was going to be a big investor or a big real estate investor. I just said, it made sense to me, right? You buy something, you own it, and you pay a mortgage. How about you make somebody else pay that mortgage and you keep the property? So I did that 10 years ago, and I kept that property, and I didn't buy another property since. It was just that property was mine and I lived in. The last 3 years, I was listening to podcasts, educating myself, listening to Rich Dad, Poor Dad was a big book that I listened to. Then I realized, wow, I don't need to work forever. If I start understanding this real estate game, which I already had a property for 10 years, I just didn't move on it. I just felt like that made sense. I'm like, damn, imagine if I do that 10 times. Imagine if I got 20 properties. Imagine if I got 30 properties. So then my mind started working, then now figuring out different ways to fund deals, buy properties, do that stuff. I'm like, oh, this is great. So
so dope.
I don't know who told me. It was one of the things. I'm real like a guy. If it makes sense, I'm all for it. Then, you know what I mean? Then you do the more research into it. Then that's where I'm at now.
Right. So that's really cool and key. A lot of people, they feel like, oh, I just want to jump into this entrepreneur thing, you know, and that's the secret sauce, to have a W-2, because the banks, they're gonna look at you side eye if you come with them and you're like, oh, I got all this cash, can I just, you know, they're gonna be like, nah, we don't do that. We're not trying to launder no money over here. So it's like really key that people understand you should start your business while you have a 9-to-5 and hold on to your 9-to-5 for as long as possible, because it gives you a cushion of comfort, right? So you're not stressing about that next deal, or if somebody don't pay their rent, or, you know, it just eliminates a lot of issues. So I'm so glad that you said that.
Nah, 100% makes total sense, because people don't want to have the patience, or people want that microwave money, meaning that money that you put in the microwave quick and you think you're going to get it quick, right? No, it don't work like that. Just play the long game, right? Figure out what you're going to do and understand that working at a job ain't bad. You know what I mean? We all do it. Having a 9-to-5 or whatever plan you got, working at a W-2 is so great when you go to a bank and the bank can see that you got income. So for anybody that don't understand, if you can't lend somebody money, right? Somebody borrow all right, $100, right? And you can know that they can't prove that how they're going to get that money back. It's hard for you to lend them the $100. But if they come in there and they can explain that, all right, well, I got this income coming in, and that's what we do when we go to these banks for lending is, look, I got proof. If this goes wrong, this goes wrong, this goes wrong, the bank, I can show you I still have a W-2 that brings this much income that I'm still able to pay the mortgage. And that helped me a lot, extremely a lot. So all these properties and good credit also, but my W-2, and it's going to continue to help me till eventually, you know what I mean? I don't have to work, but I don't mind working now.
Yeah, awesome. So can you tell us like what are your goals for this year? I know that you just closed on a property like a week ago, I think.
Yeah, I closed on one a week ago. I closed on one 2 weeks ago from that, and I got one Friday that I'm gonna close again. for another closing. I don't know. My goal is to keep buying, to keep figuring this thing out. Like as many as I got now, which is great. I'm still learning. I'm still figuring out. I'm still trying to understand how all this work that I can multiply instead of just adding now. Now I'm like trying different partners with different people, with different lenders to see how can this all make sense that I can continue to buy. So lately, it's been good. It's been good. I've been finding easier deals, but which I want to say is that it's not like I'm getting luckier, right? It's like all the work that I put in the last couple years, it's like it's starting to come. It's starting to come up a lot easier. Like people know what I'm doing. Like you said, my name Camden is under my name with Al Camden Reynolds. People know that they got properties in my city. They DMing me. They hitting me up. Like I went to go see one property last 3 weeks ago. This is about to close next week, and the guy was like, "Look, you're the only one that came in, and we can make a deal now." And I felt that it was good because he reached out to me first. I was the only one that was able to see it because I knew if it went through the market, people would have bought it. So, but it's not like I'm getting luckier. I'm just feeling like the hard work that I've been putting in the X amount of years is starting to pay off.
Okay, that's so dope. So, so I have a question. So, is your play single families or multi-families, or do you do a mix of both?
Single families. I love single families. I went to go see a couple of duplexes today, which I'm interested, whatever, you know what I mean? Numbers make sense. But in the beginning, I thought I was going to do duplexes, which, or multi-family, because, you know, one unit can pay the other ones if one goes wrong. But I love a good single family because you put a family in there, right? And you can put a family in there and long-term tenants, which that's what I love. I love to put good people in my houses. I want people to take care of them. I don't want that much turnover. And the numbers still make sense to me. So when I start buying these single families and knowing that I can keep the same tenants for X amount of time, because if let's say you get a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, some tenants will be like, all right, I need the bigger spot. So the turnover can be a lot more. But me, when I get a good single family, and get good people in there, and then they treat that house like it's theirs, which I say it is, you know what I mean? Because they the ones taking care of it. That's the play I like. But I mean, I'm open to anything if it goes across my table and it's good. But all my properties, besides the one I have in a duplex with a partner of mine, they all single families.
Okay, dope. Are there a lot of multifamilies in Camden, or is that mostly a single family area?
There's in different little spots. Like I said, today I seen 2 of them. One of them was 1 and 1, another one was 2 and 2. But I don't know. Like I said, if the numbers make sense, it's good. But I love single families just because you get good people. I mean, hopefully you get good people that can stay in there and take care of the house like it's theirs. So.
Right. Well, your face lit up when you said that, so you could see the pride. Like you're like, I want to put a family in a single family, so that's like really dope.
Because that's the goal, right? Like I want to fix these properties up, and I want to put good people in these properties, right? I'm not a slumlord. I take care of my tenants. All my tenants have my personal number, which I'm not saying everybody should do what I do, but I got a relationship. I'm my property manager. I run my properties. So it is a big deal, right? When I know my tenants is taken care of, and they, like the other day, yesterday, I get a phone call from my tenant. You know, the first thing you think, like, oh, all right, what happened? She was like, look, Al, the house next door, they selling that. Here go the sellers. You know what I mean? They want me to buy the one next to them.
Wow.
Right? That means a lot just because they don't have to do that. But because they know I'm a good person, they be like, well, look, if he can buy this one and this one, he's going to take care of this one like I take care of theirs. So that's, you know what I mean? Like, we all here to make money, right? Makes sense. But I also want to be a good person. I want to buy good properties and put good people in it. So
that's dope. So you,
it's in my city. It's in Camden. So I love it.
So not only are you caking up, you moving with integrity, and that goes a long way. That goes even a longer way because you got that reputation currency out in the street, and people reaching out to you because they know you're going to do good business. So that's dope.
That's major to me. I don't want dirty money. I don't want money just because I can do somebody dirty or put somebody in a bad position, because that don't do nothing for me. You know what I mean? Like I said, we here to make money, but as I make money, I'm gonna try to do the best I can to help the people. You know what I mean? Because like I said, this is my city. This is people just people that rent doesn't mean I'm better than them, right? Just because I was able to buy the property and they wasn't. They just probably got in a bad position with credit. They wasn't able to purchase, or even lack of education that they wasn't able to go to a bank and see if they would have got approved. So I don't look at people like, look, can you rent my property? Can you pay it? If you can, we great. You know what I mean? I don't even want you to call me your landlord. I'm just Alex. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a regular guy that understood this real estate a little earlier, or not even earlier. I was able to take control of it. And I'm just a regular kid from the city that now own a lot more properties.
No, that's dope. That's dope. How are you funding these deals for these properties, and has it changed? Have you as you've grown?
Man, listen, whoever got the money, like in the beginning, it was banking, which W-2 helped out a lot, right? So going to these banks and putting in my personal name, right? Like people feel like they need to get an LLC right from the rip, and I get it, because you know what I mean. You start looking on social media, everybody's telling you what to do, right? Like, oh, you should do this way, this way. There's no right, wrong way. Just make it happen. For me, I was going to these banks, regular mortgages, and getting conventional loans for these properties. And I was getting approved just because I had the W-2. So now it changed, because like my next deal is a hard money, which would be my first. It would be my duplex, and that's with a partner. I don't know how that worked all the way, but I'm learning. You know what I mean? I'm willing to learn. I got another partner. He had the capital, so he purchased the property, and we, you know what I mean. I found a deal. So whichever way, whoever's lending money, borrowing money, and if the numbers make sense, your audience, I don't want people just to think, just to buy something you was approved. Make it make sense. Analyze the deal, see what's the return, see what you got to put in to fix it. And if the numbers make sense, listen, let's go for it. Who got the money?
No, that's dope. Awesome. That's dope. One point I kind of want to go into, bro, because I found it interesting that you were saying how even though you're scaling up in your properties, you are in no rush to leave the job. And I know sometimes for other people, once they get that first deal or second deal, they kind of viewing the exit line. For you, why do you feel like you kind of maintained your confidence with working a 9-to-5 while building and managing your portfolio, because you're your own landlord?
It's patience, understanding, right? Like it got to make sense. You can't, the people like what you say, they buy 2 properties, now they want to quit. You like, how do that make sense? Like what lifestyle you want to live? Like, are you gonna dig yourself deeper? I want to scale, right? I want to scale, which I think we all do, buying properties or investing in any business, but it got to make sense. I can't leave a guaranteed paycheck right now because the numbers ain't there, right? And I'm still in a position to buy, right? I'm not kicking my feet up, relaxing. I'm still attacking. I'm finding properties. So I still need my W-2 job to fund some of these deals. Or if stuff happens, I need reserve. You know what I mean? I still have a family. I still have to take care of my kids. I can't just jump out the window thinking if my parachute going to work, right? I want to make sure I have everything in my backpack if I do jump out the window when it's time. Right now, I'm cool. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid to work. Like I like to work. Yeah, eventually I want to start building my own legacy and keep buying it. But right now, it's not, I'm still finding deals, and I feel like my W-2 helped out a lot funding a lot of these properties.
I think it's so refreshing because you've been so like so forward with, I don't know everything, I'm still figuring it out, you know, things have to make sense. Like, you know, on Instagram, everybody will make it seem like everything is all good. I'm a millionaire, you know, I don't need to work no more. But you're just like, I got a duplex, but I haven't figured out how I'm gonna, you know, work this deal. Or, you know, why would I leave my job? My job is helping me build my legacy. I love the fact that you said that, because so many people look on Instagram and they think what they want isn't attainable because they think it's one or the other. And it's totally not. Like the 9-to-5 is funding everything else. And that gives you, like you said, you got a family, you need that security. You need that, you know, everything in your backpack before you jump out the window. That is so key, because I've tried it. that was the worst decision I ever made in my life. Trying to do this entrepreneur thing without a parachute. So I'm so glad that you said that, and I hope that resonates with our listeners that you can do both, and we encourage you to do both, so you don't have the stress.
No, definitely 100%. Because I'm listen. And it's great what you say when I'm on my Instagram page and I post these things. It's just me. I'm not here to show a fairy tale that it's not reality. For me personally, yeah, you got guys on jets doing things, and that's great because I don't know how they got there. But me, my journey, right? This is what it is. Work, figuring this stuff out as I go, right? I'm not saying don't try it, right? But don't get so ahead of yourself and put yourself in a position that one bad deal will knock you out the game. Like I'm not in a position to take these big L's, knowing that I want to get as far as I want to. I got to make it make sense. All right, well, if this don't work, but I got this as a backup. If this don't work, if I quit my job 5 properties ago, which people was telling, I wouldn't have been able to get the next 5 or the next 10. Right now, it got to make sense. So I'm not. Listen, man. I don't drive no nice car. I'm not showing off. I'm just a regular kid from the city. Go to work and then buy properties and fix them up. And I don't want to sell somebody a fairy tale that's not real. I'm just saying it's there, it's possible, but definitely it definitely contains work, and you know what I mean. So
facts. I think you need that on a t-shirt. Go to work, find deals, buy properties.
Repeat. Right? It's definitely we all can get successful like in different ways, right? Everybody way of getting to success, it can be different. Every road can be a lot more turns. One of them can be straight, but do what works for you, right? If you feel like you want to quit your job, but you're going to find income somewhere else and it makes sense, cool. For me, that wasn't a road that I took. I felt like me working was going to be able to fund more properties, more deals. So I continue working. I'm still going to continue working. You know what I mean? I'm still going to continue to buy property. Like I'm not at that mark yet that I got to retire or whatever, but I'm working towards it, right? And I understand how it works. I'm not what I want to say. Don't want to get ahead of myself, right? Because I believe in this. I don't want to take an L and then take me out the game. I still want to play.
Right. And that's important that you said that. Like just with the pandemic, that's a once in a lifetime thing that ever happened to any of us that's on this call. Nobody could have foreseen people saying there's going to be a rent moratorium. Like just imagine all those people that own a lot of properties and that was their only thing. Now they're bankrupt. They're suing. They're people having strokes because they can't take the stress. So
and then people like trying to get these properties from them, which I mean, I don't want, buy a property that somebody's dealing with because they're under stress, but protect yourself, right? Buy smart, understand how it works, and give yourself a plan B, C, D, right? Just because, like you said, that COVID came and some people, I hear horror stories, right? Like, you talk to investors all the time, people don't pay for a year, whatever. Me, luckily, all my tenants paid. All of them.
Dope.
And I didn't have none of them. I don't think one of them had Section 8. All the other ones was paying, no issues. I get it. And I'm real, like I said, I'm an understandable person. Like I get it. Let's figure this stuff out together. I don't want to charge you late fees if I don't have to. Let's work it to make it make sense, because I know people was going through a lot of issues. But I was protected, meaning I still had a job. I still was working. I still had reserve, and I'm able to buy properties knowing that I'm taken care of if something crazy happened, right? So people need to understand the plan B, C, or D, right? Don't just look at somebody's Instagram post and see they're on a plane or they got a nice car, and then all your reserve, you purchase something that you shouldn't be purchasing, or you quitting your job knowing that that's a guaranteed income. Like this is just a long game. Like I'm here for the long game. It's not a overnight success thing. I want to continue to buy properties and hopefully, teach my kids and give them their properties and their kids. It's just not for me. It's for everybody after me. So.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. If you could, because you spoke on how, you got a job where you work 10 to 12 hours, you got properties that you actually manage on your own. Can you talk about just what goes on in a day in and day out life of you, and just like, what you do between days and weekends? 'Cause a lot of times when people hear about people that have 9 to 5s in businesses.
Busy. Right? I go to work at 5 in the morning. I don't touch down here till like 9 at night. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Right? Because it's kind of like it's like a thing I say. You got to separate yourself from the average person, right? Like if you don't, if you be the same as everybody else, we all stay the same. Like I feel like, all right, if I work X amount of hours, right, I separate myself because my income can be higher. Then if I go work on these properties, right, I separate myself because I'm putting in more work than everybody else. So when I was buying, I don't do that as much now because I'm able to hire a couple more people now, right? But my hustle was like, look, I gotta figure this stuff out, right? If I can't pay for it because the budget ain't there, it's some sweat equity that I need to put, right? I need to buy property, work, and then fix these properties. So yeah, I get busy, man, 5 to 9, like every day, Saturday, weekends. But it's also discussing with my wife, my kids, understanding like this is I'm looking at the bigger picture, right? Like sacrifice is necessary, right? Sacrifice. Yeah. If you want it as bad as you say you want it, people, there's somebody out there working harder than me, and that's surprising, right? Because I feel like I'm putting in so much work. But if you want it, sacrifices is necessary. But trust me, if you're doing it the right way, it'll work out.
So how do you handle your property management? Do you do you have systems in place? Like, I know you said your tenants can call you directly. Like, how do you handle your property?
So in the beginning, me and my pops was going fixing properties, but now like if something's leaking, it's call my plumber, right? Electrical issue, call my electrician. It's nothing crazy. Like what people think dealing with tenants is bad. Like, and I do hear horror stories. Like me, I got relationships. Like, hey Al, this is an issue. All right, well, cool. Let me see if I can get somebody over there today or tomorrow, whenever. You know what I mean? Like, and hopefully we fix it. If not, we take further actions. But just a phone call, I pick it up. Like I'm just I don't know. I don't get crazy phone calls. Like I remember one time that the basement was flooded with water, and I called my plumber. He called down. He went over there. He fixed it. He charged me, paid for it, and that was it. and
I love it.
Bad because think about it, right? If that happens once a month, right? That phone call probably took an hour from back and forth. For a month, I got paid X amount of money for that property. That was that was an expensive hour I worked, right? I got paid that, but people just worry about that little bit. Man, you get phone calls. Listen, you go to work, right? You give them 8 hours, right? Like this is my job. Like whenever I separate this being a hobby, right? Or this is something that I'm just doing it just for fun. No, it's a business. I run this, my business, Al Campbell Rentals, like a business that I don't let the shit bother me. I don't let the little small thing bother me. That it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. So you said you have one Section 8 tenant. How has that experience been for you? And will you get more Section 8 tenants?
It's been cool. Section 8, just calling the city sucks because they all backed up with stuff. Getting in contact with anybody, but people just strictly hit Section 8. I pick the people off of how I feel about them, right? If they come with money or they come with Section 8, that really don't bother me. I just need good energy, right? Somebody come to my house like, oh, Al, Section 8 said they'll cover 100% of the rent, right? And I feel like they bad people. I don't take them. I don't care if the money's there, right? It could be a family that be like, look, man, I'm just working, trying to pay this. I get this much income and I like them. I would pick them instead of just chasing the money. Like I said, I want to put good people that I can talk to, like have relationship with them, not just for now, for X amount of time. Like I said, I want to have long tenants. I want to have people, families in my houses that's going to take care of my houses like it's theirs.
That's dope. That's so dope. So what are you doing? So I know that you have your business. You're working at Coca-Cola. I need some soda. Can you send me a case?
Yeah.
What's next for you? Like, are you going to offer mentorships or courses or anything like that?
I be thinking that people be hitting me up heavy, like, and it's just that the time, right? Like I wish I could help people for free, right? Because people be like, hey, Al, and eventually, you just giving a lot of information that people's not going to use anyway. Then you take away your time, right? Like, Al, how you do this? And I'm sending them books, I'm sending them podcasts, I'm telling them what they do, and then 6 months later, hey, what was it again? You know what we doing here? We wasting time. So I said, if I could help people, yeah, it would have to be because somebody would have to pay. Just because it's like if I give you a book to read, right? Like you won't read it, right? Because I gave it to you. But if I tell you to go buy the book and you pay for it, now you invested.
You invested, exactly. You
gotta read it, right? So now it's like, but I don't know. I know a lot of people doing it, and a lot of people want the mentorships, and I don't know. I be going back and forth. Like I'm like, should I start coaching? You know what I mean? Startup investors, and I don't know. I feel like I be taking people money. I don't want to do that. And and I know that's the only way, because like somebody told me, I got information that people do need. So it's being selfish that I can start telling people. I can't just tell people every day because I don't have enough time. But I don't know. Soon, I gotta have somebody to set it up for me, because I'm horrible on that. Like I need somebody to set it up, just bring me the people like that I can do my thing, right? Because I don't feel like I should be charging people, right? So I don't know. Soon.
Right. I'm so glad you said that, because Tremaine and I, we give a lot of information, like on our lives, on our posts, just about how people can get in the game, because so many people is like, how do I get started? How do I buy my first property? And then you check in on them. At least I know I do. I'm sure Tremaine does too. I check on them in like a few months, and I'm like, so hey, how's everything going? Oh yeah, I got to get back to that. And it's just like, but we was on the phone for like an hour, and I gave you all this good information and you ain't do nothing with it. So I get what you're saying, because it's just like, it's a time suck, because you are such a busy person in your business, but you do want to help people. But it's like, I can't help you if you don't want to help yourself,
100%. And that's what sucks, because if you can, you will, right? If we have enough time in the day, we just can't. And people don't take that as like, all right, I'm gonna run with it. I had this one kid, he actually bought a property, and he actually in my groups now, like I have brought him into the investment. He only got one property, but he was like, he had sent me something like a year ago, and I answered him back, and he bought a property. He was like, man, I bought a property because of you, because watching your videos and that one DM that I sent back to him and told him where he should go, and he ran the same play and he got it. And I felt good about that, but I'm like, I wish I could help more people, but we don't have enough time, because we can't separate who's want to do it and who don't. But what you said, it makes sense. If you pay for it, that's how you separate it, right? Because if you're going to pay for this, that means you're going to be invested, right? Because now you got money invested, so you got to run the plays, right? But if you don't, they don't care. You can give them a 2-hour lecture about from A to Z, and they won't run it because they just took your time for granted. So
no, that's a fact. That's a fact. And I just think sometimes I kind of was the same way of thinking, like, you know what, I don't want to sell nothing. I'm not a guru. Why am I selling something? But I think for me, what it was is sometimes you will see so much fluff out there. Like you will hear people speaking about things that we do as landlords, and you're like, wait, that's not how that goes, or wait, y'all not hearing it right. Like, you know what? Let me just tell them, because for the longest, I have been hearing everybody say, get a property manager, and it's like, wait. You could be a landlord yourself. It's not what you guys think. And that's what kind of catapulted me to putting that same information out there and sharing my experience.
And that's what and that's what the guy told me. He was like, look, no matter what you know something that's going to help somebody, right? Like what you said, like you call somebody saying, oh, get a property manager. The person on the other end, they hearing like, oh, I need to have this. And you're like, you don't got to run it that way. Yep. Like I can break down 2 scenarios. Yeah, run this, but you're going to have to pay 8 or 8 or 10% on that, right? Did you budget that, or do you have enough time just to pick up the phone if you have an issue, right? So this is, you're right. So it's good to have people like us, just regular 9-to-5 people, and finding trying to understand how this real estate works, to give knowledge that we know, right? That it is going to benefit some people. So
Right. And that's so key. Like you said, like Tremaine seeing, people, probably regurgitating something they saw on Google or whatever, and that's not the real thing. So he's like compelled, like, I need to share this with people because that can be a roadblock for them. Like, oh, if I get this deal and I have to budget 10% for project management or property management, I'm not going to make that much money. So I'm just not going to do it at all. So it's good that we share these nuggets. So at least people know, we're doing it. We're giving you the real time play because this is something that we're doing in the field.
Because it can work for anybody, right? It's not, all right, if that play is good for you, yeah, run that one. But we regular people, there's a lot more regular people that's trying to start up. So yeah, that can be a game changer, not knowing the fees for that property manager, or not working, or just trying to find money off your LLC. It's a lot of different ways that us regular people, we was able to learn our way, and then yeah, we can help that because there's a lot more people with less money, right? Like people got these things like, go buy a property for $50,000. Like who got $50,000? Right? Like not us. So hopefully the speech, you know what I mean, just for the regular 9 to 5, which our podcast is, right? So
right. Something you touched on earlier was LLC. What is your take on it? Do you have any properties under an LLC? I need you to speak to that because so many people get tripped up with they can't start nothing until they got their LLC.
People, wow. I got a lot of them under my personal name. LLC, I think I got 2 of them out of when I got like 12 properties in now. You don't listen, man. Any like if it works for you, but don't do your education, right? Learn about it, right? If you get an LLC, like I feel people will get an LLC, get t-shirts made, hats made, all shit. I'm sorry, Chris.
Hoodie made.
Everything. LLC underneath it, just because they feel like they need to have a business. That's not listen, like you can be your own business, just buy it, just do it. I had this one phone call with this guy, and I'm like, you got a job? He was like, yeah. You got this? Yeah. I got LLC. I'm like, hold up. You got a job? Yeah. How long you been there? 5 years. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bank. I look for a pre-approval. He was like, oh, I thought you could run the LLC. I'm saying you could, but you can also do it this way. And if you want to switch it later on, do it. Just don't get caught up in this big thing. Just because you get it, you can go online, get an LLC. Now everything got to run through that. It don't for me. If I would have waited for that, I wouldn't have been able to get where I'm at now. So yeah, eventually I want to start building more LLCs. But listen, that wasn't my play. And I found working at a job, you don't need an LLC. Like, listen, just go out there, go to the bank, get a pre-approval, and go get crazy. You know what I mean? So, I think people, like I said, you said hoodies and t-shirts and hats. People just want the
candles,
business.
coffee mugs.
How many properties you got? I don't know, but I got 10 LLCs. You're like, we're moving backwards. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. People think it's cute. I don't. I'm here. I'm numbers got to make sense. The LLC don't make no money in my pocket. So
yeah,
it's so funny because I do consultations with people that want to buy their first multifamily, and that's one of the first questions that they ask me: do I need to get an LLC? And I'm like, no. First of all, you can't use FHA with an LLC because that's not how that works. And then the other thing is people don't know your interest rate is higher because it's a business. Your insurance is higher, like everything is higher because you're now an LLC, a business. When you buy under your name, under your personal name, you can get things cheaper. So I'm just like, you don't want to start out the gate with everything being too high. You're going to cut into your bottom line so much, it's not going to seem worth it to you. And then you're going to get discouraged and you're not going to keep building. So I'm just like, if you running an FHA play, no LLC, just get it under your name.
And that's the first time somebody even say it. Like I hope you got like 1 million listeners right now, because that is what it is. People don't understand. Like people just think just because everybody else is doing it, you got a play that you can use an FHA to buy a triplex, like whatever you want to buy under your personal name. But no, because you feel that everybody's saying the LLC is the only way to do it, you're gonna lose out. You're gonna your rent. I mean, your interest rate gonna be higher, like you said. You probably won't get approved, or you got. Listen, just run this play. Go to your local bank and see what you get approved for your own personal name, and then build whatever you want to build after that. But That's great information.
Yeah, and it's just like, if you trying to get in the game, just get in the game. Stop creating all these different obstacles before you even start. You don't need a hoodie, you don't need a hat, you don't need a mug.
I need a keychain though.
Not the keychain, but you know what? Just buy a property, and then as you buy it, you learn, right? You figure stuff out.
Exactly.
Like how I bought my first one is not how I bought my 12th one, right? But I'm learning. I'm still learning. I'm a student of this game, and I want to continue to learn. But what people tend to they see everything that's one person doing, and they're like, oh, I want to get to that, right? They don't see enough before that.
Yes. So true. So I'm just so excited that you was able to, chop it up with us today, because you dropped some gems. We love the fact that you were just so authentic with your story, and just basically it seemed like you just like, keep it simple and run the play.
Hard. And we do work, right? We get it in, but just understanding it's not hard. Y'all, people make it harder than what it is, and it's not. Just numbers, right? Figure it out. I write numbers down all day. I'm over here analyzing deals, but then when the play is good, I'm gonna run it again. So
that's dope.
That's a fact. Well, thank you for joining the podcast, bro. We appreciate you. If you could you tell the people that's listening where they can follow you at and reach out to you at?
You can follow me at Al Camden Reynolds. Al Camden Reynolds. That's my Instagram. I got a Facebook, but I'm heavy on Instagram. Love Instagram. Love that I'm able to put a camera in front of my face and talk my stuff. You know what I mean? And people that relate. You know what I mean? The DMs I get, that I'm able to inspire people. Like I said, I'm just a regular kid that's understood this a little piece of life, and I'm able to help people get to the next level. So Al Camden Reynolds, hit me up, DM me if you want any information, but just trying to figure this thing out. Still a student to the game.
Facts. Well, thank you so much again, and we can't wait to see what you do in the next 12 months. We know you're gonna kill it.
I'll be on another closing table, man, making this thing work.
That's a fact.
Let's do better, people.
Yes.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the 9 to 5 CEO podcast. I'm Tremaine, aka the 9 to 5 landlord.
And I'm Zena, aka Zena Dixon Inc.
All right, man. Y'all be good.
All right, peace and love, y'all.
Yep.